seem to get it out. Blank space where you shut my mouth. Filled yours with love to spit it out. I thought we wanted the same thing. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. Now let me try to sleep. I don't care to say goodnight. It would be a lie. Another fleeting dream. Trust me, it's alright. Goodbye. You never meant anything. You mean nothing to me. Just stay at home, so lost and alone. Be here, unknown. Don't tell us all. Been so down since you left. Can't get out of this hole. Stay safe at home, so lost and alone.
Hello guys, good evening everybody, welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk with LNobbins. It is the international break, which always makes things a little bit tricky when we are of course focused on talking about the Premier League, because there is no Premier League action. Of course there is no Manchester City action, or indeed no Premier League club action. And I don't fancy talking about England's World Cup qualifier, because that's, you know, that's not that interesting. So I consulted my Twitch viewers yesterday, saying, you know, what should we do? Lots of very interesting suggestions, but the common theme was, you know, doing a rankings video or some sort of tier list style of video, because it is international break. We do need international break content, and I don't think enough time has passed in the Premier League for me to revisit either a squad review of comparing it to a past side and going, okay, how do we feel about the squad now compared to the start of the season, sorry. And I also don't think enough time has passed to, I don't know if you remember that stream we did where we had a look at trying to predict the goal scorers for City. I'd rather we wait for like maybe 2 more games just so it's close to around a third. So when 13 games get played, that would be, I know it's not exact, but you can't divide 38 exactly by 4 or 3. So, and if we divide by 2, that's going to be too late in the season, I fear. Although I guess we could wait until halfway through the season. I wanted to do it a bit earlier. So I was thinking maybe we could revisit that in a couple games' time. That would be after the Leeds game. But for now, I thought, and we can always devolve, as we always do, you know, these aren't the most structured shows. We can always devolve into just like a general Q&A conversation, blah, 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 blah. But in the first instance, I thought it would be fun to have a chat about, or rather rank together, in tier list fashion, Manchester City's performers from this season. If there's anything else that you guys would like to chat about in particular, then of course we can have a chat about that. Get your thoughts in the live chat, and we can of course do that. But how are we all doing today? True Citizen say I'm going to get sacked in the morning. Thank you for that, mate. Nunes could be top 5, says Slicky. Shirky says, hope everyone's staying dry and warm. Yes, horrible weather today. Absolutely horrible weather. Good to see you too, Ready. Hello, Ahmad. Big up Nob, says Roland. Talk about Phone's world-class assist. It was a very lovely assist, wasn't it, in fairness? And it looked to be like a very nice cameo from him. So I've not seen the match. I just saw someone like do a highlights / compilation of him. I know it's not the most accurate, but it looked like he had a very good game coming on at false 9. So good for him. Good for him. Holland in Elite. Yeah, so these are the tiers, everyone. These are the tiers that I have created. Right at the top, we have Elite Stallion. That means that you've been one of City's best performers this season. Below that, we have Edging. You're on the edge of glory. You're on the cusp. You're on the cusp of it. You're on the cusp. Right in the middle, you're mid. That's the midfield. That means you've been distinctly You've been like, all right, we would have liked to have seen a bit more, but it's not like you've been bad. You haven't been like detrimental, and for the context of the player you are, perhaps you've been around what we may expect, but we'd of course like more. You've not been bad, but you've not been particularly good either. Midfield. You turned up is below that. This is getting into the territory more of what you're doing. You know, what function are you providing? Borderline detrimental to the side. And then we just have Kyle Walker in 2024, which encompasses, I suppose, you have been detrimental to the side, even though I don't think any City player has been detrimental. So I'm going to cast a wider net. That's essentially going to be like, who? Like, you're here? Hello? What? What's going on? So, spoilers, this is going to be like the realm of Calvin Phillips and that sort of player, or players who have just been injured and haven't featured at all, essentially. Maybe through no fault of their own, but I couldn't think of a better term for it other than Kyle Walker's performances in 2024. So those are the tiers. We can always add more if we so desire. I do want us to consider context to an extent, but we can only consider it so far. So for a player who has been injured for a lot and is hardly featured, they are just by definition going to have to go in one of the two bottom categories. Whether that's fair or not I don't think is relevant. It is the reality of this harsh tier list, yes? So I'm not doing another tier for always injured, blah, 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 blah. No, or he's a third choice goalkeeper. Nah, you're just going to go in there. This is about the performances. And if you haven't performed, you haven't played games, then you haven't performed. That means you're going to finish at the bottom. So that might sound harsh, but I think it's quite reasonable. Fenway says we haven't started yet, and I feel bad for Calvin Phillips. Haaland's second goal was great. We don't see many from him, says Reddy. I've not looked at Norway's goals yet. Should have a tier just for Haaland, says Pedro. Let's get it over and done with and stick Calvin Phillips at the top, says Slovak. And once again, if you have any discussion points that you would like to chat about today, then do feel free to get involved in the live chat, because this is going to take us 90 minutes to do, and we like these to be 90 minutes. So it's probably going to be a quieter stream. It's probably going to be a more chilled, laid-back stream. But that's okay. It doesn't have to always be, oh, guys, look, we're playing a 3-2 box midfield. That's nearly easy top tier. Yeah, so, guys, I think we can all agree that Scott Carson was an impossible player to replace. A legend of the club. He needs a statue, at least two. And Bettinelli has fulfilled that brief. He's fulfilled that brief. No questions asked. He's a vibe in the dressing room, I'm sure. No, I'm sorry. If you don't play a minute, like even a second of football, then you have to go into the bottom tier by definition. And of course, if you're a third choice goalkeeper, that's just going to be the situation. He hasn't even turned up, has he? Because he's not played. So he's got to go in there. Like, we've got to be fair. Of course, we could have a chat about he's just doing what he's supposed to do. This isn't a diss, but at the end of the day, he's a third choice goalkeeper. There's not much that's going for him. You guys can boo me all you want. He's on the podcast. Oh. There's more boos in. There's not as many boos in here, to be fair, as the Twitch streams where I'm taking Cork City to relegation. Also, let me know, I've not touched this screen in a while. That's a good point. Yeah, he's fourth choice. That's even. Oh, I forgot that Ortega was at the club. That's so mean. But he's because he's a good goalkeeper. He shouldn't be here, man. He shouldn't be here. I actually forgot that Bettinelli's not even fourth choice. Jesus, man. I'm sure he's a lovely player, and hey, he helps fulfill homegrown situation are in the Champions League also. So it's not a problem. This isn't a diss, but it is a reality of the role he has at the club. That's what I was going to say. I've not touched this scene in a minute. So let me know, like, if you have any thoughts on like the aesthetics. How can I make it better? I've literally just like whacked the chat. In fact, the chat should be over my. That's how. Where it should be over. There we go. That's a little bit better. Who is that next to Trafford? Oh, that's Wilson Esbrand, but I don't know why he's here, to be honest. If you guys want to do this, by the way, I just Googled City tier list, and this is by someone called Cap'n Cook. He's got a King Boo profile picture, and it's just a Man City 25-26 squad list tier maker if you guys would like to play along. It looks like this was made, I'm assuming, like at the start of the season, maybe before Wilson Esbrand went out. Did he go out on loan in the end? I can't even remember what happened to him. And whilst we're here, I mean, he's got to go right at the back because I don't even think he should be in this tier list. So he's actually going to go behind Bettinelli because Wilson Esbrand isn't really fulfilling anything, unfortunately. It looks like VR. And I think I need to upgrade the scene. I've made that 3D. Do I need to make myself have a green screen effect instead, or should we have the background here? I don't know. It's something to have a think about. If you have any thoughts, you're watching on the replay, feel free to get it in the comment section. If you're here, then do that. Or if you've got any different suggestions for the names of the tiers. I think the names of the tiers are pretty good. I always like to put my own twist on them. Once again, just because I know lots of people are coming in right now. Right at the tippity top, we've got Elite Stallion. Below that, you're edging. You're on the cusp of greatness, but you're not quite there. But you've still been really good this season, but you're not quite in the elite level yet. Midfield is maybe a harsh term, but it's sort of like, yeah, you've done what's been expected of you. Oh, I'm confused. I was judging Foden pre-new haircut or post. Yeah, Cap and Cook, if you could please update Foden's profile picture, that would be great because this bowl cut is not it. I need his beautiful flowing locks instead. Right. Let's get into it though, shall we? And I want audience participation as always. We've just done a couple of easy ones there. We have done a couple of easy ones. And let's do another easy one, shall we? Because there's no spoilers there. There's no spoilers that Haaland is going to be at the very top. And we are also ranking left to right. This is not just vertical. We're not amateurs over here. This ain't amateur hour. It's horizontal, left to right as well. And Haaland is going to be at the absolute top. And I'm sure that no one is going to debate that. He scored the most goals in the Premier League this season. He's obviously scored the most goals for City. For club and country, I think he's on 30 or something insane. He has scored as many... I know this is a City tier list, but still. He scored as many goals for Norway as Mbappe has for France and as Rooney has for England in far fewer caps. That's stupid. That's insane. That's an insane thing. He is the fulcrum. Is that the correct term I'm after? The fulcrum of this team. All of the channels get funneled through him for a reason because he's the best number 9 in the world. And he's on how many goals for City in the Premier League? It's about 87, isn't it? You know, just this season alone, I think he's on 1 million overall. So he's easily been our best player, and he nearly had that. He was having that fantastic run of scoring every single game. Sadly, he just didn't quite get that 1v1 against Aston Villa. Outside, and perhaps he could have done better against Spurs. Outside of that, I couldn't have asked for more. Missed a penalty against Liverpool. Scores and apologises. That's what we want to see from Haaland. Even when he's, making an error, he makes up for it immediately. So that is Erling Haaland. I'm sure no one is going to disagree with that. The map says Calvin Osfilopoulos at Elite Stallion. Loak says, I feel like a lot of players are edging between 6 and 7 out of 10. I agree. I think a lot of players are going to be in this area, edging and midfield. I think a lot of players are going to be in around this area. One less red card internationally this season than Ronaldo. What a start. Kane is better than him. IMO scores similar amount of goals and contributes more to the team, says I am. I don't think he does score the same amount of goals. Certainly not from open play anyway. I know Kane scored a lot of penalties this season. And you can say Haaland missed his. But Haaland's only had 1 chance for City. I think Haaland's actually scored more than Kane from open play. And far trickier league, far trickier team to do it in as well, I would say. So I'd say Haaland's more impressive. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Is this based on expectation or just straight performance? I think we can have a little bit of... No, I think we have to have a little bit of context there. Even though I'm not accounting for context for if you're like a 4th choice goalkeeper or injured. I think we have to have a little bit of... Yeah, mix of both. There's got to be some acceptance because otherwise what we're doing is we're just... I guess we are looking at the performance as well. We're going to have a little mix, I think. A little mix. I don't know any of their songs, but they're a band, aren't they? Because... if it was sort of expectation alone, then I'd probably pop Nico in Elite Stallion, but I don't know if he quite deserves to go in there based just solely on performances. But based on what I was expecting this season, he's far exceeded my expectations. But I don't think his performances overall justify being an Elite Stallion. That's a spoiler for Nico Gonzalez. Maybe near the top of edging, So maybe a mix in between. A mix in between. We can definitely have a chat about that. We can have a chat. Flow state. Okay, who should we have a look at next? Oh, Ortega. So he's going to have to go behind Bettinelli, I think, because I'm not going to spend too much time on Ortega. Just because he's sadly got zero function in the team, which is a shame. But he should be going. He should be gone. I'm going to pop Bettinelli ahead of him because he's at least got a future in the side as a third choice goalkeeper, whereas Ortega just has zero future because we need to move him on, and we need to move him on ASAP. So that is a shame for Ortega. I don't understand why no clubs came in for him, because I think that he can be one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So I'm staggered that either no offers came in or he opted to stay. No idea what's happened there. I'm assuming it's the former. He must have known when we brought in Trafford and Donnarumma that he was never going to play. So I'm guessing that no serious offers came in which case I just don't get that at all, because he can be a fantastic goalkeeper for, I would say, like an upper mid Premier League side. He's not going to dethrone Raya at Arsenal, and he shouldn't be starting for City or Liverpool or a side that's competing for the title. But he can definitely be in a side that's competing for like getting into the Champions League spots and getting into the Europa League. I don't see why that can't happen. So it's a shame, because this is basically a year of his career that's being wasted. And it's not like he's a young player either. So it's really frustrating for him, because I really like Ortega as a number 2. Fantastic. But of course, like, we've moved past that as a society. No idea why Burnley went for Dubravka over Ortega. Odd one there. Very odd one. Okay. Let's have a look at, because I want to sort of like try to create a baseline for every single tier. So let's get someone into midfield, shall we? Someone that's been mid this season. And he's my favourite player. You guys know that. And injuries haven't been kind to him, of course. But I wonder, is this the realm of Omar Marmoush? Because I think given the sort of players that we are going to be discussing at edging, players such as perhaps Nunes, Cherki maybe, that ilk of player, Marmoush can't get into there. He can't get into there. And there is, of course, the caveat. Wow, you think he turned up? And exactly, and I'm going to repeat. This isn't a tier list that necessarily about it being the player's fault. I need to keep reiterating that. Marmoush has been injured. It's not his fault that he's being ranked quite low here. I think that if he started the season fully fit and he didn't get injured, based on the player I know he can be, I reckon he could be to the top of edging. But I've got to do it based off partly what we've seen so far, but also what we haven't seen. And we haven't seen enough of him, not his fault. It's a good point, Musty. I do think that perhaps I oversold him. Perhaps he should be turned up instead. He played well in the game against Swansea, was it? I thought he came on against, it was either Liverpool or Everton. I thought he did well there. But he struggled, I believe it was against... Oh, no, it's a shame because I felt he played all right against Spurs, but he missed a gilt-edged opportunity to score and put us into the lead or to equalise. So based on the season so far, there is, of course, the context, but he's turned up. He's turned up, he's here. He's here. I don't think we can say he's been mid, because I think that's going to be the realm of perhaps maybe like perhaps an Oscar Bob, but that might even be going too far the other end. We'll find out, though. We'll find out. I do want to establish a baseline. I'll tell you who I think has been, though, who I don't think does justify getting into edging. And it pains me to say this because I'm a big fan of Tijani, big fan, and I'm still a massive believer in him, and I still think he has had a lot of good performances this season, but it's not been the level that I have been after. And this is where we can have that mix about applying the context. I was expecting him to get more so into the edging, and it hasn't been the case. But there have been a couple of very good performances from him. Of course, he played really well against Wolves. He's had some very nice showings in the Champions League also. but it's not been enough to get him into that second highest tier. I don't think it's been as bad as You Turned Up because there have been some good performances, and he's never been truly detrimental to the side either. His worst game was against Aston Villa, and that was not his fault because he's not a defensive midfielder. We know this against their really bullying team. Yet really good against Dortmund. Absolutely, yeah, Nintendo, I forgot about that one. 2 assists against Dortmund. So there have been some good performances going his way. So I'm not comfortable. I would not be comfortable in putting him in You Turned Up because of that. I think that overall, on balance, it's been disappointing given the context, but he has been steady for the most part with some very nice performances. Couple of lackluster showings as well, where he's sort of gone missing and he's clearly not been ready for the intensity of the Premier League. Still a massive believer in Reinders, and I don't think he's been bad as some people make out, but I can't have him in edging. I can't have him there. You Turned Up sounds better than mid, says Kenboy. I can always rename the tiers if you guys think that we should do that. His only really bad game was Villa. His only sin is the expectation he set after the Wolves game. If he only went to the corner flag versus Arsenal, he's been all right, though, says me. I think it's been all right. I think it's been all right. Should we rename You Turned Up then? Because midfield makes sense because that is middle. That is literally like the definition of being in the middle because it's the median one, isn't it? There's 2 above, 2 below. Do I need to rename You Turned Up to something else? What should we call You Turned Up then? It's got to be between midfield and Kyle Walker in 2024. So what should You Turned Up be renamed to? You guys are agreeing. What should we call it? What should we call it? Cork City? Givo. Cork City squad player. How about that? How about that? If you guys have missed out on the Cork City FM save, you're missing out on a great time on the Twitch. I'm about to get sacked. Perfect. There we go. Are we happy with that? Are we happy with that? Watch this, Sarah. Painful seeing Omar there, I know. I feel like maybe I've gone too far the other way there. But this is only a joke at the end of the day. It's only a joke, you know what I mean? Don't take this too seriously. This is just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. And again, there's the context of he's been injured and blah, 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 blah. Fine, okay, maybe squad play is a bit harsh. Cork City legend. How about that? Because, yeah, Cork City squad play is a bit crazy. Let's go Cork City legend. Okay. Don't get too... Yeah, it's more the order rather than... The names of the tiers are more so a fun little thing for me and my little brain, because I'm easily amused. So, okay. Let's move on to another player, shall we? Let's get someone into edging, shall we? Who's been edging this season? Who's been edging? I think a player that has been edging this season has been Matheus Nunes, I would say. I don't think that he can go into the absolute highest tier. Even though I think the performances of late have been, really good. We're talking about like goods to great. They still haven't been properly elite, and I can't forget there's still been a couple of errors thrown in there. For example, the silly handball against Brighton, giving away a penalty, or still making a couple of those bozo moments where he slips and falls, or he overplays and he does a dribble and then he passes it to no one. He's very close, though. So he's edging. Remember, that means you're on the cusp. That means you're nearly there. He is nearly at that elite stallion level this season. But as we're going to find out, the elite stallion tier, I think there's only going to be maybe 2 players in there. 3 at a push, but not many in that top tier. So we're talking a very high standard to get into that elite stallion tier. Like, we're talking about City's top 3 performers at the absolute most there. Absolute most, we're talking top 3. So I think that we are. I think that with Núñez, he's doing that. He's in the second to highest tier. He's edging. He's on the cusp. And it's so good to see. It's so good to see from him because he did. How many times have we said on this channel that he does? He is going to have to reinvent himself. He's not going to get into the midfield at City. It's not going to happen for him when there's Foden, Rodri, Nico, Reinders. There's so many bodies in front of him, and then there's the players like Lewis and Nico O'Reilly who might want game time as well. We can even throw Bob into there also. He was never going to play in midfield for City. Even in an injury crisis last season, he still wasn't playing. That's how desperate Pep was to not play him when we needed his profile more than anyone else. He still wasn't there. So we said he has to reinvent himself either as a winger or a fullback. He can fill in at winger, he can fill in at fullback, and he's been doing more than just filling in at fullback. He's actually been fantastic, and he's given me the confidence to go, hey, we don't even necessarily need a ready-made right back. We can afford to go for a younger option who can be the understudy perhaps in the first season, learn from him, doesn't have to be thrown in at the deep end, and then from there. So I'm really happy with that. I've got Dokuhev, Nico, G, but if they are 4 in that tier, then absolutely, says Fenway. Why was he labelled as a Rodri backup, says Natando. I don't know, to be honest, matey. Because he was never going to be that. If he pockets Vinny, then hands off, says Reddy. I don't see why not. I don't see why not. Okay, who's a better right back, Núñez or Bradley? I'm personally taking Núñez, and Bradley pocketed Vinicius Jr. Like, he had his way with him. So if Bradley can do it, why can't Núñez? I've got faith in him. Why can't he do it? You know, Vinicius is not the player that he was a couple years ago. He's not as scary as he once was. So I think that, yeah, exactly. You guys are in agreement for the most part. I think that Núñez can be that guy. He can be that guy. Why not? Why not? So now we have our baseline of players. Because, I mean, spoilers, Haaland is going to be at the top of Elite Stallion. Núñez might be at the top of edging. I'm not sure about that, but he's going to be very near the top. Reinders might be near the top of midfield. I think Omar might be near the top of Cork City Legend as well. So we've got a nice baseline for all of our tiers right now to hopefully make the horizontal ranking a little bit more straightforward. Let's just do Kovacic now, who's got to go into that bottom tier because he's not played. Sadly, I'm going to pop him at the top because he will, I'm sure, get into this area. There's not too much to say about Kovacic. I don't think he should I don't think he should have stayed here this season. Don't get why we allegedly said no to a Saudi bid from him. That's confusing. He's now out until February, March, which is very, very upsetting, of course. I'd suspect that he won't be here next season. So it's not looking good for him. And he's hardly played, and he's not going to play that much either. His time's up, says Large been a great servant. Yeah, he's been very good. For the player that he was supposed to be when he came in, I think he's fulfilled his role perfectly. He's been a squad option, and he's actually played better than I thought he would in some of those games. Now, I do think that he's been becoming a little bit overrated by some members of the City fan base, because I've seen some people suggest that maybe he could be starting when everyone's fully fit. I don't think he's ever going to be that guy for City. It was lovely what he did for us in 23-24, and he was involved in our best side, but I don't think so. Like, the time for Kovacic is over. We've moved past the need for Kovacic, bringing in Reinders, bringing in Nico. So he's done his job, but it is time to move on. It's just one of those. Yeah, that's Kovacic. I've seen some people suggest get Kovacic in, like, alongside Nico. I've seen that. I promise. So, yeah, that's Kova. He did a great job for us, given the context of the player he was, but it is time to move on. Ruben Diaz is an interesting one because he's had a bit of a revival, a bit of a renaissance this season. You can tell that because City are playing because City are having to play more of a defensive game this season, that has really helped Diaz's game. Because people forget how good he is as a box defender. And that is his bread and butter. That is what he is. He's also been given far less on-ball responsibility this season compared to the season before and the season before that. That's also gone in his favour because that's not his strength necessarily. Let players like, Gvardiol do the ball playing, or John Stones do the ball playing. Let Diaz do the direct defending. So he's been very good this season. Yeah, Diaz is definitely edging for me. Definitely. He's not been an elite stallion, because I don't think that they're the performances of when he first joined City, but it's been a lot better. It's been a lot better, and I've been very happy with him so far. Even that moment against Liverpool, where I don't know what Donnarumma's doing, but like Donnarumma rushes out and Diaz realises, oh my god, I've got to do a last-ditch thing here. That's really good defending by Ruben. I'm very happy with him there. I guess the question becomes, does he rank higher than Núñez or lower than Núñez? I'm tempted to do this, because I don't think that Diaz has had like a poor game. Even his biggest area of criticism, aerial duels, he's been dominating them. So what do you guys think? I'm willing to be persuaded either way. My instincts tell me he should actually be higher. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you guys think. Fatty Thin Photon says Diaz has been our best defender this season. I think he has. I think he has. Hasn't had a bozo error, says Kenboy. Núñez just edges Diaz. Núñez has had a more challenging job. I don't disagree. Higher, change it back or I quit the stream. The handball bozo for Núñez puts him lower than Diaz, says Fenway. His lows are better than Núñez, but the highs are worse. I don't think there's a wrong answer here. I don't think there's a wrong answer. I'm going to stick with my instinct. And my instinct is that Diaz should be higher. I can't think of Diaz. What error has he made? I don't think he's made one. I don't think there's an incorrect answer there. I'm going to go for Diaz, just because that's what my gut is telling me. But I don't think it's a problem if you want Núñez there. I think they're very close. But my gut is telling me that Diaz should be ranked a bit higher. So I'm going to pop Diaz higher as a consequence of that thought. But I wouldn't begrudge you if you had Núñez above. I think that is fine. I can't think of big errors. Early in the season, he was playing out the back. He was large slime. He was playing at left centre-back, wasn't he? And that was frustrating. Núñez has exceeded his expectations more, but Diaz has been elite in terms of his consistency in the right formation, says Fenway. That was on Stones, says Spartacus. I think I remember that being a Stones thing, yeah. I think I'm fine with that. Okay. Who next? Should we just do... Trafford's actually a really hard one to rank. Because there was, of course, the error against Spurs. That wasn't ideal. What's funny, though, is I would say that Trafford saves... I think that Trafford has done the best save this season. And that was against Brighton. I think that's been the best save that... I think that's been the best save in the Premier League this season, to be honest with you. I was going to say of any City player, but I think it's actually the save of the season so far. I can't get over how good that was, where he clawed it out of the net. He played well against Wolves. Mistake against Spurs. Played well outside of that. Also involved in one of the Wolves goals, which was nice. He's played well in the Cups as well. So He's going to be either midfield or Cork City legend. I can't put him in edging because he's not played enough stuff. Why not, Musty? The Brighton save was better. Why can't he save that? I think he probably could. I won't lie to you. Based on that Brighton save. Mid, but not really as a fault of his own. Got to be mid. I'd say mid says beyond mid. It's one of these two, isn't it? It's either midfield or Cork City legend. It's one of those two. Even against Swansea. Yeah, good saves against Swansea as well. Cork, I don't think we'll put a second choice goalkeeper on the same level as Reinders. Maybe he can be like at the top of Cork City legends. I think it's either top of Cork or bottom of mid. It's one of those two. Edging to elite Spartacus, you're so not helpful. I think it's one of those two. It's either there or there, and I'm not sure. Mid because he has potential. But I'm not ranking it based on potential. I'm ranking it based on what we've seen so far. Chat overwhelmingly saying mid. Right. Let's do a poll. Trafford. Because I'm easy to go either or. Mid or Cork. We'll have some audience participation for this one. What are you saying, guys? I don't think there's an incorrect answer. That's the thing. It's either bottom of mid or top of Cork. I don't know which one. Get your vote in the poll right now. Get it in there. I'm not going to... It's either going to be one of the two. So if Cork wins, I'm putting it at the top. If mid wins, it's going to be at the bottom. One of those two. How are we doing? Get your votes in, guys. Has Trafford been better than Village? Village has been horrendous. Hello. So far, it's looking like 60% are saying mid. 59 now. Mid is good. Okay. The chats are spoken. There we go. Okay. It's only going at the bottom, though. I don't feel confident doing it anything else. Respect Cork City Legend. Yeah, respect the Twitch streams. Respect them. Respect them. I think that's fair, to be honest. If it's top of one and bottom of the other, then they're very similar anyway. I don't think that's a problem, to be honest. That's fine. Also, I mean, that Brighton save is massively pulling its weight here. Because that was an insane save. I can't believe how good that was. Okay. Who next? Let's have a look at maybe some controversial takes. Let's have a look at some of our wide players this season. Let's have a look at our wide players. Let's start with Oscar Bob. Oscar Bob. I thought he had a really good start to the season. He played really well against Wolves. I thought he played good against, was it Swansea? Outside of that, he's struggled a little bit. And it's fair enough, he is coming off an injury, but I don't think that he's performed anywhere near to the level that I would have wanted, even given the context of the injury. He's not doing enough in the final third either. He's overcomplicating it, I think, at times, dribbling one step too far. So this is going to be, I think it's going to be Cork City, based on that. Cork's, yeah, this is going to be a Cork one, isn't it? I think it's going to be a Cork one for me. I guess it's just like, where? Has he been best? I mean, he's played more than Marmouche. Cork is crazy. Where would you put him then, Musty? What? Hello? If Reinders is mid, Bob's got to be in a tier below Reinders, hasn't he? Surely. Hello? Mid? I think like a mid player is going to be more like a Rico Lewis rather than Bob. I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah. My instinct tells me it should be in Cork. I don't feel comfortable putting him in the same tier as Reinders, I'll be honest. I don't feel comfortable doing that. That seems stinky to me to do that. Was Rico done more than Bob? I don't think Rico's played badly, has he? Has Rico played badly? I think whenever he's played, he's been alright, hasn't he? Unless I'm misremembering. I feel like he's been quite good when he's played. Who knows? I'll see. I'll see. I don't feel comfortable putting Bob in mid. Maybe I'll change my mind later, but I don't feel comfortable putting Bob in mid. I'll be very honest with you. Be very honest with you. I don't feel comfortable doing that. Doku. Wait, what? Have I watched Bob this season and said, yeah, he's proper shit? But Cork isn't proper shit, Musty. What? I don't know if people are confused at the rankings. This one is shit. This one is shit. This one is like below average or whatever. Mid is mid. It's just below mid. This is shit. Doku is the best edge. Right, where we're putting Jeremy? It's got to be in one of the top two. Obviously. No, we're not. Musty, I don't know if you missed the start of the stream. We said I'm not doing that I'm not doing the hasn't played context. We ain't doing that. What are we doing for Doku, lads? What do we reckon? It's either bottom of elite or top of edging. I think... You think we should vote? Okay, we can do that. My instinct... My instinct is that whilst there have been like fantastic performances, obviously, I think Musty's just said it there, I agree. There was also a little period where he was a little bit... It was underperforming. And we can have a chat about the context of he wasn't getting the right support. But there were some games also where he wasn't quite hitting the heights consistently. For Elite Stallion, I need you to be like great essentially every single game. With a couple of exceptions. I need you to be like exceptional all the time. So my brain is telling me that it should be the top of edging based on that. We are really in the start of we are at the start of the season, of course, so anything can happen. Anything can happen. He's not in the same conversation as Haaland, says Ryan. Only Haaland, Amphodinia, and Nico are elite, says Archel. He needs to try harder, says Lucifer. Elite edger. Wolves' first game of the season, which is fine. Everton, Villarreal, mid. Rest of the game's unreal. I don't think anyone's in Haaland's tier, says Musty. Top of edging. Recent bias is also getting to me, but logically, top of edging is better. Elite when he plays centrally, edging as a touchline. There we go. It's similar to the Trafford one, to be fair. Around high 50s percent think that... it's gone lower. I'll let it go because actually that might actually get closer to edging. I'm not going to end it yet. Elite means you make me... Okay, Archer, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, we seem to be in around there. Again, we are very close. We are very close to it basically being 50-50. So there's once again, I don't think there's a wrong answer here. But I'm going to pop it top of edging. Whilst we're here, I'm going to pop Foden into Elite Stallion. Because I do think that he's been our second best player this season. I'm just gonna get that out of the way right now. He's been our second best player this season. Haaland is... We might make our own Haaland tier, but I don't want to for the sake of, the visuals. But Foden has been our second best player this season. He has been elite. Give me the game he's been bad. Give me the game he's been bad. You can't. He's been our second best player. Name the player who's been better than Foden, not called Haaland. You can't. He's in the top. Why is it called Cork City of Legend? Because, JJ, we are doing a Cork City FM save. That's why. Phone's defensive contributions have exceeded expectations, definitely. Nico G. Nah, Nico G's not been better than Foden this season. I won't lie to you. Won't lie to you. Nico's not been as good as Foden this year. Because Foden's been at this fantastic level every single game, whereas Nico's he was fantastic against that. If that game against Liverpool was his game every single week, then yeah, I'd probably agree with you. But that's not been his level every single week. And I'm a big Nico fan. But that's not been his level all the time. Whereas Foden has been that. So Foden has been our second best player. I'm not going to lie, I think that's probably the end of Elite Stallion. I don't think that I'm going to put anyone else into there, personally. TBH. I'm comfortable with that, personally. Nico G and Doku on the same level for me. Fenway, I agree with that, to be honest. This isn't about importance, and of course he's more important because he's our defensive midfielder. He's the only one right now. So many players are edging. We might need to create like a second tier because I think a lot of players will be in that second to top tier. So we might need to create another one, in fairness. I might need to create another tier because I think a lot of players are going to be in that one. Nico G not third Elite Stallion upsets me, says Large Slime. Would it be a bit... What if we did this? I've totally gone against everything I was going to say there. What if we do this? And now we can differentiate it a bit more. Is that going to make it a bit easier? Because now we can justify popping Doku into that tier. Now that I've added another one. Because I think you guys were right. I felt uncomfortable putting Doku in the same tier as Haaland, but that is a bit better. I guess also Foden. That's a little bit better, I think. Yeah, I think you guys are right and I was very wrong. And based on that, let's have a chat about Nico G. I'm going to pop him into Elite Stallion as well. I now feel comfortable doing that. Yes, I'm happy with that. That's good. Not related to the stream, but according to City Extra, company has a lot of admirers as Pep's replacement. I hope so. Yes. That's going to be a lot better visually also, in fairness, because I guess I underestimated how many players are going to be in the edging one. I think we're going to have like 5 or 6 there, and it wouldn't make sense to also have some of those elite ones in there. So that's good. I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Yeah, that's chill. Okay, let's get Calvin Phillips out of the way. I'm not going to pop him. I mean, he's at least made a bench, so you can go there, I suppose. There's not too much to say about Calvin though. It's a thing. Archer, that's crazy from you. He shouldn't be here. It's not his fault. He shouldn't be here. He's not good enough to play for us. He was never good enough to play for us. Leeds and Bielsa killed him. He turned up injured. He was never going to get minutes over Rodri, who went on to win the Ballon d'Or in his second year. It's a shame. He just wasn't. He's just not City level, and there's not much you need to analyse other than he's just not good enough to play for City, and that's a shame for him. But I'm sure he's a lovely guy. He's always smiling. That's very cute. I'm sure he's a nice vibe in the dressing room. But at the end of the day, you've got to be in the bottom tier by definition because you're just not playing. You've got to be in the bottom tier by definition. He's won the treble. Yes, he has, in fairness. Where is he? Where is Wilson Esbrand? Is he on loan somewhere? I don't know. I don't even know. Zero ball knowledge is crazy from you. It's crazy from you. Okay. Where next? Where should we go to next? A very hard one to rank. Kusanov. Let's have a chat about Kusanov now. started the season not in the team, if memory serves. Came into the team, looked good, got injured, has only had one game back since injury, and looked bad, but that's not his fault, he looked very rusty. So a lot is going against him here. A lot is going against him based on that. It's obviously got to be one of these two tiers. It's either midfield or Cork City legend. It's got to be one of those two, but what do you guys reckon? Because I do think that if he was able to continue playing and continue those performances, we'd be talking about an edging situation here. We're talking about edging, but we can't because of the injuries, and that's been a shame. That's been frustrating, obviously. In between Tajani and Trafford, says Kazoo. Mid because he hasn't played much at all, but has had some good games this season. I think that's probably going to be fair. He's impressed when he's played. Mid after Tajani. Kusanov walks so Nunes could run. Top of mid, I think he's better than Tajani when he's played, says Large Slime. But for this one, this is a harsh tier list, and you not playing is being held against you. So even if you're 10 out of 10 only once, then I guess that is being held against you. I think mid is fair. I don't feel comfortable putting him in Cork City, even though he has missed games. But I'm also not comfortable putting him ahead of Tajani. So I'm going to pop him there, personally. I'm going to pop him there. It's going to be interesting to see how he gets back, how he gets embedded back into the side if we want to continue with Shirky at right wing. Because if you're playing Shirky at right wing, I don't see how Kusanov fits in at right back. And I don't see Diaz getting dropped. So it is going to be really interesting to see what happens there. But of course, you guys know I'm a big fan of Kusanov. And I do think he's our future first choice right centre-back. I do think that he is that. Midfield over Trafford. Kusanov does deserve to be at the top of mid because he's a cutie. Jugador says that's fair. Mid above Trafford, says Liam. Mid is about right, says Beyond Ultra, who plays a centre-back, says Sachin. First bench option, I agree, yes. He should do that. I'd rather be in Kyle Walker 2024 than a Cork City legend. Chill, chill, chill. Kusanov will play over Gavardiol. Oh, no. That's hard to disagree there. We need that left footer at left centre-back, definitely. Definitely. We'll slowly be replacing Diaz, which is only fair. Yes, exactly, Ryan. Kusanov, excellent when he's played. It's edging. But this isn't just about when he's played. We are also accounting for missing games. So he is in there, based on that. Do GG next? We can do... Yeah, we can do... Let's just get all the goalkeepers out of the way, shall we? I think that he deserves to be in edging, personally. I don't think that I'm comfortable ranking him higher than Nunes or Diaz, but he has been what I expected, essentially. He has brought experience and authority to the back line, which is very nice. There have been some fantastic saves. There have also been some upsetting moments and bad errors. Some which have been punished, some which have not been punished. But I think that if you knew what you were getting, sorry, what am I trying to say here? If you knew what Donnarumma was before he joined City, then you should be 100% satisfied with what you have seen, because what we have seen is basically what my metaphors are failing me today. He's the perfect definition of does what he says on the tin. That's what I'm trying to say. He has produced exactly what we expected of him. So based on that, he's definitely going in edging. But I don't think personally that I'm ranking him higher than Nunes or Diaz. Donnarumma has made more errors than Nunes that have led to goals. He's also had some fantastic highs. So it's the same argument, isn't it, of Diaz has perhaps been more consistent, but Nunes has had higher highs and lower lows. I think the same is for Donnarumma. Well, they've led to goals, Musty. Yeah, definitely. Nunes has only made one. He's met expectations, says Fenway. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Edging is correct. Yes, I think so. Nunes has cost us a game. Gigi hasn't. I mean, the Arsenal game was an error from him, and the Bournemouth game, and then he wasn't punished for the Brentford error, and he wasn't punished for the what was it, the Liverpool error, but they are still there. So I think that's fair. To be honest, given all that context. It's been what I expected. Or the Salah error, yeah, that one as well. Yeah. So there are a fair number of errors that we have to say, just because they didn't lead to goals. I mean, that's nice, but they are still errors at the end of the day. So I think that's fine. Musty, you can't rush out like that, mate. That's if you know you're not going to get it, that is an error. Come on. Right. I think that's fine. I think that's pretty chill. He's an edging. I'm happy with that. That's good. That's good. But some people are saying pop him in elite. I don't think that's... Error and elite both start with E. Shut up, mate. Shut up. So yeah, so he doesn't get to go in elite styling. So I'm going to hard disagree with that. I think edging is fine though. Okay. Who should I look at next? Nori, sadly, because he's not played that much, I think is probably going to have to go into Cork City Legend because of the limited game time he's had. And yeah, because of that, I thought he looked fine against... He was very defensively solid against Wolves. He then got injured. Looked rusty against Swansea, like with Kusanov. But we don't have the track record of really good performances. So I think that he's got to go in Cork City. It's just, where do you think? I'm tempted to put him... I could put him above Omar. I could put him below there. I don't mind which one, but I do think this is the correct tier for him. I know he's been fine, better than Bob, says Sachin. Bottom of mid, he at least has G&A, unlike Bobby. He's top of Cork. So there, do you think? He's played more and more involved than Marmoush, says Liam. Not going to be too bothered about how we rank Cork tier players. I wouldn't feel comfortable putting Marmoush... Sorry, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting Ait-Nouri into the same tier as Kusanov. That's the way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at who is in the tier. We've got Reinders and Kusanov. I don't think that Ait-Nouri's performances and levels are similar to what I've seen with these two based on that. So I don't think that I'm comfortable putting him in mid. Now, Club World Cup was last season. I know some stat sites have it last season, some have it as this season. I'm saying that it's a last season thing. I'm not comfortable with Marmoush being bottom of Cork. Where do you think he should go, Kazoo? Where do you think he should go? He'll fight for his place and probably rotates with O'Reilly when he's rest. Will come good. Yeah, this isn't about what will happen, of course. This is about what we have seen. After we've done them all, we'll have a review and we'll talk about the contentious ones. We can maybe change the order. We're not including Club World Cup. Bob should be bottom, says Kazoo. Marmoush is bottom of Cork. He's not had a good game this season, says Slime. Marmoush has a goal. He does. Marmoush above Bob. Right, we'll come back to Marmoush later. That's a contentious one. Let's deal with Ait-Nouri first of all. Let's deal with Ait-Nouri first of all before we move on to Bob and Marmoush. I don't think I want him in mid. I'm happy with him in Cork. Does anyone desperately want Ait-Nouri in mid? In the same tier as Reinders and Kusanov and Trafford's? What do we think? Because remember, Trafford's at the very bottom of mid as well. I think Ait-Nouri can play midfield. He's Cork. I want Trafford in Cork. I know that's what you, I know that's what you want, Musty, but the poll said otherwise. Chat is so corked. Injuries all that's hurt him, says Cody. I think Cork is fine for Aït-Nouri based on what I've seen of him and based on the fact that he's been out for so long and the fact that he's hardly played. So I'm doing that. I'm going for that. I'm locking that in. I'm locking that in. Right. Okay. Shall we come to... I feel like we haven't done a centre-back in a minute. Let's do a centre-back, shall we? How about Johnny Stones? How about Johnny Stones? Weird season for him. Came in. Amazing performance against Villarreal. Treble system. Gorgeous. Didn't work against Aston Villa, I think it was. Is that when we tried to do it again? Didn't work. Horrendous. Not his fault. We didn't have a defensive midfielder. I don't think that he's been bad when he's played at all. I don't think he's been particularly exceptional, but so I'm feeling a mid here. I'm feeling a mid. It's just about where we rank him. That's all. I don't think he's been like bad. I don't think he's ever been properly bad. I think top of mid. So Stone's higher than Kusanov then, is that what we're saying? Between Tijani, Kusanov, but I think the chat rates Kusanov this season higher than I do, says Fenway. Top mid is Glazing. Reinders and between Reinders and Kusanov. Musti says easily better. Below Reinders says Ens Hulk. Kusanov has more impact in bigger games like United and Arsenal. Name me one bad Stones performance this season. It's a good point. I don't think I can. I don't know if I can. How much has he played this season? That's the question. He's also played at right back. Forgot about that. There was a game where he played at right back, I believe. He's been better than Tijani, says Musty. I don't know if I'd go that far. I think that there are some good Reinders performances which are bumping him up there. He has played a few and had 2 good games as Sachin. He wasn't great against Villa. He wasn't Photon, you're not wrong. I'm fine with what this looks like, I'll be honest. I'm pretty chill with this. I'm pretty chill with how this is looking. I'm quite comfortable with that. Pretty sure Reinders leads the team in assists for all comps. He does have a lot. I think this is acceptable personally. I think this is fine. I think that's fine. I'm happy with that. Who do I want to do next? Ake. Where's Ake going then? Well, on the topic of centre backs, where is Ake? Who has... How many games has he played? I feel like he's hardly played. He played against Everton. I remember that. He played against Everton. Big Earl. Must he... Shut up, mate. He's played 8 games this season. He's played 5 in the league, which I seriously can't remember. But how many has he started, I guess? I guess that's what I should be asking. I can't remember him starting that many. He played against Swansea in the Cup. He played against Everton. He came on against Burnley. Started against Huddersfield. Came on against Arsenal. Came on against Napoli. Played against Spurs. No, sorry. Did he come on against Spurs? Or did he... No, sorry. Came on. Oh, that was when Aït-Nouri got injured against Spurs. I've not been that impressed with Ake when he has played. And he's been very much a bit part player this season as well. It looks like he's had 1 Premier League start, and that was against Everton. And I got a bit frustrated at his performance that game, to be honest, if memory serves. I think he kept giving the ball away. That really annoyed me. So he started one Premier League game, so this can't be high. This can't be that high. It's going to have to be in Cork, I think. I think it's going to have to be Cork based on the very limited game time. And yeah, I think it's going to have to be a Cork one, you know. Low Cork. Well, like there, do you think? Musty. I watched the game. It happened. I don't know what you mean. Ake is Cork. I think so. He also... Was it Ake who gave the ball away and then Everton had to score? I don't care what the stats say. I know what my eyes showed me. He kept giving away the ball, whether it was a pass, whether it was a dribble. He kept giving it away. I don't know what you want to say. He didn't misplace a pass. And what was the error that led to Everton nearly scoring? What was that then? What happened there? Was that not him giving the ball away? Am I being dumb? What was that then? What happened there? So he must have given the ball away if he made the error. Like what? How are you saying he didn't misplace a misplace a pass when he made an error that nearly led to a fucking goal? What is happening? I can't remember Ake playing Stick Him in Cork. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. Gosh, he's got a very big neck. I've just realised how big a neck Oscar Bob and Ake have. Is that just because their lower bit's cut off? I don't know, but they've got incredibly thick necks, these lads. Goodness me. Goodness me. Well, okay, okay, Musty. Well, what did he do to make the error to a goal then? Because he did give the ball away. I remember that happening multiple times. I don't know what we're doing. I think that's fine. We will revisit this. This seems to be the most contentious area, the Mid and Cork area. So we will revisit this, and I'll give you guys the opportunity to say your cause. It happened right at the start of the game, and it should have been a goal for Everton, and somehow Beto bottled it. Okay. Shirky hasn't played as much football as maybe some would have wanted, but he has been injured. When he has played, it's for the most part been very lovely. He played well when he came on against Wolves. He didn't play well against Spurs. He then got injured. He was fantastic against Bournemouth. Wasn't particularly good against Liverpool. He was fantastic against Swansea. It's a tricky one. It is a tricky one. That's the thing, Musty. Yeah, there were some very high highs, but I don't know if there's been enough of a sample size for me to justify putting him in the same tier as Donnarumma and Núñez. I don't know, and this might be where I need to make yet another tier, because I can't have him in the same tier as like Trafford. I'm gonna have to make another tier, I think. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it simple, but I think I have to do that. I don't feel comfortable putting him here. I'm going to make another one. I don't know if that's controversial, but I'm doing that. I'm going to do that. Because I think that Shirky should go... No, I'm not going to do that. Fuck it. I can't be bothered. No, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it. No. I do feel comfortable. I've changed my mind. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. Top. I might move. Yeah, I might go again. I know the chat said that, but I think I am going to have to move them down. What do you guys reckon? He does Sachin, and that's what's putting him up. I'm going to have Trafford at the top of Cork. I still think there's an argument to be made for having him bottom of mids, but there we go. Musty mate, why do you want to fight me? What's going on? The reason why I'm not willing to put Shirky in edging is because he's not played enough football, and even though the highs have been unbelievable, like Bournemouth and Swansea, and the brief cameo against Everton, and the brief cameo against Wolves, they are brief cameos, started against Spurs and was not good for the most part. Created a good chance, but for the most part was not good. Played against Liverpool, wasn't particularly good either. Wasn't bad, but wasn't particularly good either. So that's why I'm going to pop him at the top of mid rather than edging. That's why I'm doing that. That's why I'm doing that. Savio is I'm sort of saving him because I don't know what I'm going to do with him, I'll be honest. I don't know what I'm going to do with him. The more I'm looking at Marmouche, the more I'm like, have I made a massive mistake by putting him there? I'm just going to revisit the games he's played. Okay. Now that's last season. Okay. Played against Spurs. He was fine. Should have scored a goal, though. Good against Brighton. Got an assist. Don't you? Oh, yeah, it was that little poke. I mean, it was a fluky one, but hey, he still got it. He then gets injured and misses all of September. Comes back in mid-October. No, he doesn't. Comes back in late October. Scores a goal against Swansea. And hasn't really played since. The problem is that he's barely played. So it's so hard to judge him. So how many starts has he had? He started against Spurs. He started against Brighton. And he started against Swansea. So he started 3 games. But he's got 2 goal contributions. He should have scored against Spurs, man. The sample size is killing him. In my eyes. The sample size is killing him. But then again, how many games has Ake played? I feel like Marmouche... Move him horizontally to second of Cork. Marmouche is low-key top of Cork. Marmouche between Trafford and Ainori. Yeah, Musty, but look at the cup games, mate. Look at the cup games. He's played more than those, hasn't he? And again, save of the season so far for me. And aside from the Spurs game, he's actually been very good. Like, he was really good against Huddersfield. He was really good against Brighton. Should have done better for Spurs, of course. Really good against Wolves. So I'm having him there. I think that's fair. But that's not relevant for the individual performance, Iron, is it? Whether Brighton beat us is irrelevant to how good Trafford's save was. The save should have kept us in the game. In fact, it did keep us in the game. It's not his fault that his defence let him down. I can only base it based off what has happened, can't I? I think that's looking a lot healthier. Yeah, I'm happy with that, I'll be honest. Trafford up there with Big O, chill. I think I'm fine with that. I liked the save against United, but I think the one against Brighton was way more impressive, how he clawed it out. Just because I thought that was well in. I'm very happy with the tier list so far, ladies and gentlemen. I won't lie to you, I'm very happy. Kazoo, what have I done now? I think this is good. That's looking a lot healthier. Okay. contentious o'clock. Yoshko. Where we put in Yoshko? I thought he was like one of our worst players against Liverpool, but I think that he's been good this season. I'm not going to say that he's been better than Diaz defensively. He's been vital to us building out from the back, though. So it's probably going to be a mid for him based on everything. Or it could be low edging. What do you guys think? Mid for Yoshko, some passes have been poor. Bottom of edging. Because he thinks he's on Diaz's level. Better than Stones. Edge. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. Of course, better than Stones. Yeah. He has tendinitis, probably playing through a lot of pain. It's very upsetting, to be fair. Low edging. Bottom of, we're getting a lot of bottom of edgings here. Top of mid. Yeah, that Liverpool game was frustrating, but I think that's his worst game, in fairness. Does make Ruben Betty not wrong. Low edging, thinks Kazoo. Bottom edging, has to be top of mid. Let me refresh myself of his performances. Yeah, he did make an error for the Brentford one, which Donnarumma had to bail him out of. That was a bit upsetting. But he had a great game apart from that. Of course, he got the assist against Brentford. And, oh, that little loft ball to Haaland as well against Monaco. Yeah, there's good. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that, to be honest. I think that's pretty chill. I'm comfortable. I'm having him higher than Shirky, but lower than Don. How many errors has Yoshko made this season that have led to a situation where the opponent may be reasonably expected to score or has scored? One against Brentford. I'm thinking, Alex, how many errors has he made which either have led to a goal or could reasonably have been expected to lead to a goal? And I need you to name them as well. Because Brentford is the one that sticks in my mind. But name me the ones, because I need to know. Because I can only think of that one. I am second guessing. This is a collaborative effort. Liverpool against Liverpool. Yeah, that there was one against Liverpool which may have led to a goal, perhaps, yes. Anything else? He saved Diaz in the Arsenal game to satch him. Against Villa. I don't remember that one. So my gut is telling me to move him one higher, but because I can't remember all these mistakes you guys are saying, but if you guys are saying they happened, then I'll accept that they happened. I can't remember them in my mind's eye, but I'll accept that he goes there. But I can't remember them. The only one that stands out is the Brentford one where I'm like, yeah, that should have been a goal. I can't remember any others, but I'll accept that they exist. So that, yeah, he's fine there. That's fine. Okay, Rodri now. I think that just by virtue of the fact that he's hardly played, he can't go in edging, obviously. Let's revisit. How many games has he played? What games did he even play in? I've just spotted him as a placeholder there just while I have a look. Of course, he played well against Arsenal. He played really well against Napoli. He played well against United. Thought he was good against Brighton. Barely played against Spurs, but we looked a lot better when he came on. He has played enough to get into the rankings. It's just going to be relatively low for him, that's all. I don't think he's been bad when he started, really. I don't think he's been, like, bad. Again, I think against Spurs he looked quite good. To be honest with you. Will riot if he goes in Cork. I thought that photo was Cancelo. Rodri is a corker. Beyond Ultra says mid. He's played well when playing. He's been great when he played, especially Napoli and Arsenal. Yeah. I'm going to keep him there, to be honest. Hello, Ethan. I think that because he's barely had any starts and any games. In fact, how many starts are we talking? What, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's had 5 starts and only a couple of cameo appearances. Really. In fact, not even that many cameo appearances. Spurs, really, is the only one. Has he played more than Shirky? I don't think so. Fuck it. I don't care. I'm putting him there. I don't care. Right. Right, Rico Lewis. What are we saying? What are we saying for Rico? Again, another player. I need to keep going back. Another player who's barely played. All I remember from him is he played against Villarreal and played really well, in fairness. Oh shit, he started against Wolves and got an assist. I totally forgot about that. Fair play. I forgot about that. That's my bad. So he started against Wolves, played well there, got an assist. Started against Spurs, then was out of the side until the Huddersfield game. In respect to started against Villarreal, played well there. Started against Swansea, played well there. I actually don't think he's actually had a bad game. Even against Spurs, he wasn't bad. That was the only game that he started where we didn't win. Every single game he's played, he's actually been good. Rodri in mid seems wrong given he's been injured. Majority seems a bit barely played. Sadly, Ultimate, Dems the rules. Not had a bad game or a bad moment. Don't you dare put him in mid. No, I'm gonna probably I'm probably gonna like pop him in Cork, but near the top, because what's he done wrong? Why the bottom of Cork though? Like, what of those games I just listed there? He's actually played well in all of them, apart from Spurs, where he was only fine. Rico's been good. He's got at least 1 assist. He's actually got 2. Yeah, he's got one. He got one against Wolves opening day of the season. He got one against Villarreal. What do you reckon? He's been good when he's played. He's been better than Kusanov. Fight me in chat, says Fenway. It's tricky. It is tricky because the sample size is going against him. It is going against him, I'm afraid. Fenway's getting banned. Just drawing so many questionable picks here. Diaz, which one don't you agree with? This is based on this season, and we're not really accounting for playing for not being injured. Not really accounting for that. If he's fit, why isn't he starting more? Says Photon. Yeah. I think that's fine. I think that's pretty chill. I think it's pretty chill. You can like debate the left or right, but I think it's in the right. I think he's in the correct tier. I think he should be in Cork rather than mid. That's the thing. He hasn't played enough. That's the thing. If he played more, When he's played, it's nice. It's nice when he's played. But as someone just said then, he's not really been injured. Diaz is elite. Nah. I don't think so. I don't think he deserves... I think top of edging is fine. The amount Shoki started the way he's placed deserves edging. I don't know. I think that there were too many inconsistencies there. And that's the thing, yeah, it's not even like the injury to why he's not played. It's just because he's not been being picked. So I think that's reasonable. That's reasonable. Yeah. That's fine. He does look good when he's played in midfield, Alex. I agree. I agree. It's actually taken longer than I thought. I mean, I'm taking my sweet time, but, you know, it's fine. It's all good. I think the Cork tier is fair for that sort of player. Yeah, that's basically what it is, Photon. Like, it's usually like a player who... They may have played well when they've had a couple of appearances, but they haven't really been playing enough to justify it or warrant it. Right. Let's have a chat about Nico O'Reilly then. Nico O'Reilly. Where is he going? Because he has had amazing... I mean, he's been so good that he's had an England call-up. He has taken on and beaten Saka, Salah, Madueke, that Dortmund player whose name evades me, Adiemi, is that what he's called? Mbumo? Who was it that he played? Who was up against? No, to be fair, against Bournemouth, it was only Brooks. He's been very lovely. He's been very lovely. What, has he had a bad game? Has he had like a bad game that he started? I don't think he has. Not really. Not that I can see. I think every game he's either been good or great. He's even got a couple of goal contributions. He scored against Bournemouth. How many assists has he got? 1, 2, 3 this season. Only below par game is Dortmund. We've won every game he started. Large time at having bottom of elite. I wasn't gonna do this, but the more I think about it, why wouldn't he be an elite? Can someone give me a reason? Why is this a wrong ranking? Why is this not correct? Oh, okay, it's not going higher. Let's get that straight. It can only go lower. This is the highest I'm willing to put it. Has he been a tier better than the guys below? Bottom of elite is fair. I think he's equal with Diaz and maybe Nunes. He's solved our left back problem. Elite styling is only for the most undroppable players. Essential, Cesara. He wasn't getting on the pitch when Nunes was being smelly. Wait, what? Who's that in reference to, Musty? He's been playing well. He's keeping out Nori. I think because of the... That was when Nori was still fit, wasn't it? I think that based on the offensive contributions, that he deserves to be, that he does deserve to be higher than Nunes and Diaz personally. Yeah, I'm putting him there. I'm putting him there personally. If you want to put him there, I don't think that's wrong. But I'm putting it there. Yeah. It's been pretty important. It's been pretty important for us. This is the Diaz Remontada, and he's also elite, says Kazoo. I think I am going to pop him in elite. Doku's had bad games, not O'Reilly. I'm sticking with that. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with that. Right, okay. Two of the trickiest options here. Two of the trickiest players to rank, I think. I think Bernardo might be the trickiest, but Savio might be the most contentious. So let's have a little look at Savio, shall we? Who I think a lot of City fans don't like. We'll start with Savio first. And then we'll go on to Bernardo. He's had two good games, I would say. Two good to great games. And they were against Villarreal and the other one where he played right wing. What was that one? Dortmund. That was the one. Outside of that, they've been only fine. He's never been bad. Like, he's never been, like, detrimental to the sides. But it's never been great outside. There've been some good moments. But not enough for my liking. Hasn't had a single good game. And what about Villarreal? What? What about Dortmund? Hello? Oh, no, that's what I mean. He hasn't... I don't think he's been bad this season. I don't think... Okay, let me rephrase. I think he's had two great games. Like, two great games against Villarreal and Dortmund. There have been a few good performances therein, and there have been some lackluster performances therein. Let me have a look at the matches he has played. So, can't really remember how he was against Liverpool, but oh no, to be fair, he came on against Liverpool when we needed more intensity in the game, and he brought that, so that was good, in fairness. Yeah, I thought it was great against Dortmund. Barely played against Bournemouth, I can't even remember that. Great against Villarreal. Good against Everton, I think, yeah. Brentford, can't remember, I thought it was fine to good. Burnley, only fine. Huddersfield was good. What other games did he start? And those are the games he started. He came off against Napoli and United. So what do we think for him? What are we saying? Definitely gets in mid, says Kenboy. I'm having him in mid, definitely. I'm just going to say that in the first instance. He's not getting into Cork City for me. I'm definitely having him in midfield. It's just where he goes. It's just where he goes. I can't remember, Musty. I'll be so honest, I can't remember. It's definitely going to be somewhere here. Above Rodri. Between Rodri and John. Bottom, says Liam. Rico, one game midfield impressing more than Savio against Villarreal. I can't agree with that, personally. Bottom of mid. Excuse me. I think I ranked Rodri too high. I think I want to do that. in the first instance. Can't be above Godry. I mean, why can't he, in fairness? After Shirky, I think he's made more than Reinders. Rodri bottom bin, Savio second bottom seems fair. Has to be above Stones, says Kemboy. Who, Rodri or Stones? Gusano can't be lower than Rodri and Savio. I mean, he sort of... Yeah, okay, I'll change my mind. I got a bit cheeky early. I'll put Rodri bottom there. Kusanov has been better. Kusanov has been better bottom of mid is where he should be. Because Rodri is in mid because he hasn't played enough. Savio's mid because he's been mid, says Photon. Kusanov disrespect is unreal. Not really. I think Kusanov has been, like, good when he's played. But Savio does have a couple of great performances going in his favour. He does have a couple going in his favour. I guess that's maybe the difference. It's not very nice, True System. What the hell? Because he's barely played, Diaz. That's why. Talk about the injury difference between Rodri, Marmoush, and Nori. Yeah, they've all been injured. That's why they're ranked low. Just leave it like that, says Kazoo. For the Unkin Earl tier. Bernardo is Elite Stallion. Love that from you, True Citizen. Nice haircut, mate. I'm fine with that for Savio, to be honest. I don't think that he's been anywhere near as bad as people have been making out. I actually think he's been alright. In the games that he's played. And I'm not being funny. I'm a big fan of Kusanov. I do think that he's been massively overrated, though. I think his performances have been massively overrated this season. I'm not going to lie to you. I think that he's played good when he's played. And I think that there have been some moments where he has been very lovely. But I think that some people are massively overselling what he's done, TBH. And I'm a big fan of Kusanov, you guys know that. But I'm happy with that in all honesty. Yeah. It's always hard to judge players who have barely played. It's always hard to judge players who have played, but it's one of those. It's one of those. Right. Bernardo. Guys. Bernardo. Where's he going? Last one. Last one. Interesting season. Started it against Wolves very nicely. Has become very important at work all of a sudden. Essentially. And he has been very important for our upturn in form, I think. He's got a couple of assists. He scored a goal. He's gonna be in one of the higher ones, I think. When he started, anyway. But the start of the season was a bit upsetting. But he's been so good in the last few games. I think it probably is going to be mid, but near the top. Yeah, exactly, Mus. That's the thing. He has been so important recently, but this is across the whole season. And there were some stinky moments, man. There were some stinky moments. Yeah, Kazoo. If we were just doing it based off like the past week or two, then he'd be in like the highest tier with Erling Haaland, yeah. But the start of the season was quite bad. And like he was just really poor and underperforming for the most part, Wolves game aside. So I do have to... I think that balances out as being near the top of mid. I think I wanted to do that, True Citizen. That's what my gut was telling me, but chat convinced me otherwise. Mid by average of 2 extremes. That's what I mean. Because when he was on it, he's on it. But then when it's stinky, it's stinky. So it's hard to judge. I do think that does balance out as being high mid based on that. So I think I'm going to pop him there at the higher end of mid. So it's on the cusp, I suppose. It's on the cusp of getting into that higher tier. I think that's reasonable. Give the only survivor the unction some respect. Below Ryan? No, I'm not willing to go that far. Where does Pep rank for me? Yeah, I'd have him in edging. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Recently it's been elite, but I'd have him in edging across it if we were ranking Guardiola. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. And actually, and it's been lovely that he's been like that for the past couple of weeks, but that's not what he's been all season. You're right. If that was what he was all season, then I'd have him in the next tier up. I'd have him probably at the top of edging, maybe even elite, but I don't feel comfortable doing that based on it being the entire season so far. And with that, it's only take us 1 hour and 45 minutes. We're done. What are the biggest contentious ones that people aren't happy with? Speak now, and you see if you can persuade me. See if you can persuade me to change any rankings here. What's the biggest grievance that you have with this list? Let me know. And see if you can tempt me. You might not be able to. And this is just a tier list. It's just a bit of fun. But... So I'm just like doing this on the fly. Wilson Esbrand, hello. Diaz is too high, says True Citizen. You want Rodri above Kusanov. Savio swap with Rodri. Don, despite so many clean sheets, has so many potential bozo moments. You know, and I know, and the chat convinced me earlier. I'm actually not going to be convinced of that. I am going to put Yoshko there personally. What, you want Rodri there? Yeah. Wilson Espen shouldn't be on the tier list. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, I'm not. Yeah, hold that, Musty. Hold that. Good boy, says True Citizen. Shirky me is crazy to do his worth of GA every 45 minutes, but he hasn't played enough. He hasn't played enough, that's the thing. Because our disrespect is mad. Where would you have him then, Ultimate? Where would you have him? Musty, as we established, we could only like name one that was like actually one. People were just saying generic terms, but people weren't saying like an actual moment. I can name you 4 or 5 pretty clear ones with Don. I can't name you that many with Yoshko, so that's what I've based that difference on. I was deep to his third in the shit tier. Respect Calvin Phillips. Yeah, respect him. My Yoshko in all of his handsomeness could never drop a clanger. I don't think Vardy and Kusanov have been any different in terms of ability. No, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that, to be honest with you. What about the Brentford one, Musty, where he kicked it straight at the player with the ball playing? What about that one? Do you not consider that a bad one? I do remember that, Iron, but I also remember, but I'm not basing this ranking off. I'm not basing this ranking off last game. I'm basing it off the career. I think the Yoshko's had very few poor games and has made very few mistakes. Kusanov is too low, says Warlord. I don't know if he is. I don't know if he is, to be honest, because he has been out for a bit of time. And he was lovely against Arsenal, of course. I think that he played good against United as well. I don't think United attacked us down their left, but I think he was good there. Yeah. I don't know. Has Kusanov had any bad games? I don't think he's had any bad games, apart from Swansea, but that wasn't his fault because he was rusty. It's more a sample size thing that's impacting him. Performance versus Madrid. What? This is this season. Hello? This is just this season, guys. I don't know if that wasn't made apparent. I'll check Kusanov then, just because in case there's a game I'm misremembering. Okay, so he played against Brighton, and I think he was fine in that game. And not saying this is his fault because Nunes shouldn't have done it, but he gave away the silly foul which led to the penalty instant. I'm not saying that's his fault, but it was a bit rash from him. I remember him being fine in that game. He was good against United. He was good against Napoli. Oh my God, he's barely played? I thought he played more. I'm misremembering then. I thought he played a bit more at the start of the season. He's only got 5 starts in the. He's got 5 starts. One of which he went off at halftime. The other one, another one. Sorry, he was rusty against Swansea. So a great half against Arsenal. I agree. He was good against Napoli. Of course, they had 10 men. That was the context, but still had a good game. And he was good against United. Yeah. Oh my gosh. The more I'm thinking about it, that is well justified. I'm not miscounting here, am I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brighton, United, Napoli, Arsenal, Swansea. Swansea game was not good. Rusty. First half against Arsenal, very good. Miss the second half. Napoli, yeah, good. But hey, we're up against 10 men for most of it, but still good. United, good. Brighton, fine. I'm really happy with that ranking now. Really happy with that ranking. I'm chill with that. Yeah, so I'd say on there, he's had one great game, and that was the first half against Arsenal. I'm chill with that. I'm very happy with that. Yeah. Yeah, Rodri can go higher than you. I still think Savio should go there because I think he's had 2 great performances and he's had some good performances and then some average ones thereafter. The more I'm looking at this, the happier I am. TBH. I'm very happy with the top 5. I won't lie. I think that is the correct top 5. I'm very happy with edging. This, to me, this is perfect. These are the 2 tiers I'm a little bit confused by. I can be swayed here and there, but I'm happy with most of them, to be honest. So, I think we did a good job there, lads. I think we did a good job there. Don't forget, this is just this season, and don't forget, it's also just a fun little tier list. It's not too serious. It's not to be taken too seriously. It's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. He's still top of there, Musty. He's still top of there, and it is the best. I think it's the best save that the Premier League's seen this season. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie. Stone should be with Haaland for that Villarreal game alone. Who will change in this ranking the most? Oh, that's a great question. Who will change in this ranking the most by the end of the season? I think it will be Marmouche. Because Marmouche right now is low because of the injuries and such. I think that Marmouche could get into that elite one or edging maybe. And that would be a 2-tier bump. So I'd go for Marmouche because he's got the potential to go up for 2 tiers quite easily. Another one would be Reinders and Shirky because they could easily get up 1 or 2 as well. If Rodri come back to full fitness, then he'll get into that tier with Erling as well. Those are the obvious names I'd say. What do you guys reckon though? Buying Omar stocks, yeah. I think he can, Musty. I think he can. So in order for improvements, you're looking at players in mid or Cork because they're likely to get a 2-tier bump, aren't they? They're likely to get a 2-tier bump by the end of the season. Nico will drop a bit, says Treble. If Roger gets fit soon, he'll be an elite. I think that could be right. Iron, yes. Covered's edging, shut up, Musty. Ryan squared. I think that was fun. I'll repeat, guys. It's a tier list. It's just... Oh, my goodness. What's happened here? Oh, my God. I pressed the wrong button there. Oh, God. It's all kicking off. I pressed the wrong button on my keyboard. I think I pressed print screen instead of... Yeah, ignore that, guys. Don't worry about it. Oh, dear. I don't know what was going on there. Right. Boom. Oh, it's all kicking off. I'll repeat what I was saying. It's just a bit of fun. It's just a bit of fun. Your rankings may be different, and that's fine. I don't think there were mass disagreements on, that player's an elite and they should be in mid. I think that if we were far apart, then it's only by really an order of the rankings. I think basically everyone agreed on the rankings by the end of the stream. So I think we did a good job there, lads. Well done. Let's read the FME emails. Oh, yeah. So a bad thing has happened on Football Manager. Speaking of which, come to the Twitch, guys, because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, you get to watch me shit the bed for Cork City as manager. A bad thing has happened with the Football Manager. Essentially, without boring you into the details, I now have to recreate everything from Tuesday. Or we just pretend that the next 6 games didn't happen because of an error that I made. And I spoke with Musty and Beyond Ultra, and you guys seem to want me to try to go back and recreate it. So I'm going to try to do that. That's the thing. I didn't cheat, okay? I did not cheat. I made an error. The save file's gone. There's now a save file for either the starting from Tuesday or starting from playing the playoff game. So it's one of those. You get to watch shit the bed. The quote system still doesn't work. The save file is gone. Yes. It's not. True system. It's not convenient at all because it means I'm going to have to waste 8 hours of my life trying to get it back to what it was. That's not convenient at all. In fact, I would say it's inconvenient. It's the opposite of convenient. Must he shut up? Yeah, but it's going to take ages to do, isn't it? I'm going to have to simulate it until it gets the right thing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining this fun little stream. Hope you enjoyed it. It's international break, so I did struggle to think of what we could talk about today, but thank you for making this a fun stream nevertheless. I can get it first now. Okay, I'll have to revisit that because I must have missed that. I don't know what that is. Thank you so much. I'll be back. I'm going to do a member-only video. Probably going to record it today or this weekend, maybe. No, actually, no, I'll do it Sunday. I'm away in London this weekend for... we're going to see Hercules at the theatre. So I won't be here on Saturday, obviously. So I'll record that on Sunday, probably. That's the thing. Join me on Twitch Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings. It's a lot of fun, and I'm shit at it. It's great stuff. And I guess I'll be back with one of those uploads in the next few days. So keep an eye on the channel as always. Goodbye, guys.